Welcome to the second edition of a new feature here on STLSportsPage.com. Rob Raines reporting back in our home office here at St. Louis, back from our trip in Arizona. We're going to be doing these weekly Cardinal podcasts throughout the offseason to try to keep you up to date on what's going on with the Cardinals. Of course, we enjoyed our week last week in Arizona. Hopefully, you got the initial broadcast there from Scottsdale Stadium. And, I think anybody, I still want to encourage everybody, I know I did it a week ago, but still want to encourage everybody that's a baseball fan to plan a bucket list trip out to Arizona some point in your future in October or early November to the Fall League. The Fall League runs until about the second week of November, and it's just a great chance to see Cardinal prospects, great chance to see some of the other great players in the minor leagues from a real up close and personal vantage point, even better than spring training as far as the access to the fans and how close you can get to the players and things like that. So anybody have any questions about the Arizona Fall League, be sure to just hit it up here in the comment section on stlsportspage.com, stlsportspage@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to answer them for you about what we know and experience from the years we've been going out to Arizona. I've written up some stories about our time in Arizona. The first one, of course, came up on the site on Monday about Victor Scott II, the young prospect tied for the minor league in stolen bases. The interesting angle to his story is how he's become now being mentored by Vince Coleman, the former Cardinal Hall of Fame stolen base champion. So check that story out, as well as the one that we're going to post on Thursday about Tekola Roby, who's one of the players the Cardinals acquired from Texas in the Jordan Montgomery trade right at the trade deadline. He and Thomas DeGacy, the young infielder who's not in the Fall League. Roby is in the Fall League, but to talk to Thomas as well, they actually are best friends and were traded together, so it's kind of a unique story. So you can look for that coming up on the site. It's Thursday, and then we picked up a couple other stories while we were out in Arizona as well, and you can look for them coming up on the site next week. So we kind of spread them out. There was one Cardinal transaction on Wednesday, a minor move, but they've claimed that infielder Buddy Kennedy, an infielder from the Oakland A's, off waivers, added him to the 40-man roster. At this point, at least, the 40-man roster is full at 40. That will change soon as the Cardinals will make some moves to open up some spots to be able to sign other players and make trades or whatever as they go along into the offseason. But that's the move that they made as of Wednesday. One other Cardinal note, KSDK Channel 5 is reporting that Phil Metzler, who was the Cardinals Director of Security, been in that job for a while, has been let go from that position. So you can read that story on KSDK.com. They got that information. Of course, the big news in baseball this week, the playoffs have been decided. The champions of the American League and the National League, the Arizona Diamondbacks upset the Phillies, and Texas Rangers, also a wild card team, beat the Houston Astros. Both those series going to Game 7. Exciting time for baseball. So they'll be the two representatives in the World Series, which will begin on Friday night in Arlington. Announced today by the Diamondbacks that Zach Gallen, the former Cardinal prospect, who was involved years ago in the trade that sent to Miami that's acquired Marcell Ozuna, he'll be starting Game 1 for the Diamondbacks. Plenty of former Cardinal angles, at least on both of those clubs, as we head into the World Series. Of course, the American League ALCS MVP of that playoff series over Houston, Adolis Garcia, his story well known to Cardinal fans, how he really didn't sign with the Cardinals, but didn't really get much of a chance to play here. Moved on to Texas. Actually, was DFA'd by the Cardinals, then sold to the Rangers, but then, of course, DFA'd by the Rangers as well. Could have been available to all other 29 clubs, including the Cardinals, but nobody picked him back up, so he stayed on the Rangers, and history shows that he's turned out to be a great player, especially in this time of the year. There are a couple former Cardinals still on that Texas ball club as well. Jordan Montgomery, as we just mentioned, was involved in that trade. He actually got the win in relief in Game 7 of the ALCS. He'll probably start at least a couple of the games in the World Series. And then Chris Stratton, who was the reliever who was involved in that deal as well, will be coming out of the bullpen. One other, of course, local angle to Texas is Max Scherzer, a St. Louis native, Missouri product. He's, of course, was acquired by the Rangers as well at the trade deadline, so you look for him to be pitching during the World Series. Mike Maddox, the former Cardinal pitching coach, is the pitching coach for the Rangers. And Donnie Ecker, who was a minor league instructor, actually was a coach with Ollie Marmol in Palm Beach years ago. He's the bench coach for the Rangers. So a lot of local angles there. And, of course, on the Diamondbacks, in addition to Gallen, you've got former Cardinal outfielder Tommy Pham. He'll be getting some work both in the outfield and as DH for that ball club. And then they have three coaches who with Cardinal ties. Brent Strom is the pitching coach. He was a longtime Cardinal minor league instructor, then actually the former pitching coach of the Astros. Joe Mather, who was a Cardinal outfielder at one point, he's the hitting coach for the Diamondbacks. And Dave McKay, Tony Wilder's longtime first base coach here in St. Louis, he's the first base coach for the Diamondbacks. So it should be an exciting series. I think everybody's kind of expecting the Rangers. They pummeled the ball during the playoffs, but I think the Diamondbacks have proven that they don't mind being the underdog. So I think hopefully it'll be an exciting World Series. It'll be one more year that the baseball does not have a repeat champion now after 22 consecutive years since 2001, since the last time a team repeated its World Series champion. One other note today happening, Baseball Hall of Fame announced the 10 finalists for the Ford Frick Award. That's the broadcasting wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame. The local angle is Joe Buck is one of the 10 finalists. So, of course, his 26-year run being with Fox Sports as their lead baseball announcer for all those World Series. So he will be on that ballot. It's a vote by a select committee of former winners of that award, as well as a few other people picked by the Hall of Fame to do the voting for that award. It will be announced during the winter meetings coming up in December in Nashville. No other real Cardinal news. Still waiting on the Yadier Molina front as far as the rumors are continuing about whether he will be added on to the coaching staff at some point. It seems like that's going to happen, at least in some capacity. Not really sure what that capacity will be yet. We're still waiting for John Mozeliak to hold his end-of-season press conference. I think it could come up at some point here in the next, if it doesn't come up in the next couple of days, probably we'll be waiting until after the World Series is over. And speaking of other baseball news, there is one other note. Mike Schilt, the former Cardinal manager, who was a finalist for the job in San Diego, went to Bob Melvin, is scheduled to be interviewed on Thursday by the Padres for that managerial opening, which now is official after Bob Melvin left San Diego to become the new manager of the Giants. So Mike is one of two internal candidates for that job, along with Ryan Flaherty, who was a coach for the Padres this year. So he's going to be interviewed on Friday. So hopefully there'll be some news coming out of San Diego, and are wishing our best of luck to Mike before he goes after that job. And we'll have all the other Cardinal news covered for you here on STLSportsPage.com as it happens. And again, say thanks for tuning in to our new weekly feature, Cardinal Podcast. We'll keep you doing this throughout the offseason. Keep you posted on Cardinal news. This is Rob Raines reporting.